And welcome to all the esteemed panelists and lovely guests who are listening to this session, the day two of the Future Ready Education Summit of School Education. This is the day two, and we are in the uh, panel number five. And I welcome my esteemed panelists, Dr. S.K. Rathor, founder, chairman, and MD of Sanfort Group of Schools. I welcome Dr. Kavitha Jain, Director MDN Edify Education Private Limited. However, she is into consultation now. She'll be telling us more about her work. Dr. Annie Wu, Head of Instructional Programs of Schools, District of Janesville, Overseas Office, Asia Pacific. We are delighted to have you with us, ma'am. We also have Dr. Sarada Chandrasekaran, Director, Whitefield Global School, Bangalore, one of the most senior panelists that we have today. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kiranpal Singh Chawla from Bilaspur and chairman of Career Point World School and director of Onkar Education Academy Private Limited into the domain of pre-engineering and pre-medical entrance exams. So we are happy that we could all join here today. And education, as they say, the more we discuss and we share ideas, that is how we learn from each other. So here we go. The topic for today's discussion is creating the way for global academia collaboration for future workforces. It's basically about how the schools, colleges can collaborate with those institutions who are providing online skill upgradation for our students so that we create a better human beings, well educated, more confident in solving any resolving conflicts and anything in their lives. So, just a brief outline I'll be sharing about the panel discussion, and then we go to the questions. So, are the respected panelists ready? Super. Thank you so much for giving those thumbs up. It is said that schools have the strength to create the instructional possibilities which can rework lives and extrude the destiny of generations to come. Very well said. The virtual revolution is converting how training works. However, what position do school colleges play in this? Today's global need is that younger human beings to discover ways to assume critically, communicate efficiently, and resolve issues efficiently. And this is where the virtual training comes in, that how we can inculcate the virtual trainings and skill upgradation in the school curriculum, in the college curriculum, and what best can be done. So let us jump to the questions now. And we have such great panelists with us. So I go to Dr. Kavitha Jain. Dr. Kavitha, this is the first question for you, and it goes like, how can industry academia collaboration help in enhance the creativeness and problem solving skills of future workers? So this is the question, that how can these collaborations help? So I would request to kindly speak for a minute about your personal initiatives and about your experiences in the industry, as you told us that you've been in this industry for the last 2 decades now. So it would be really great to listen from you, and then probably you can share some light on the collaboration part of it. Go ahead, Dr. Kavita.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chawla. Yeah, I've been in the segment for 20 years, and I've strongly believed that collaboration of industry, and not only when I say industry, I don't just mean the workforce, but even within the education domain of other schools nationally and internationally, helps children get a lot of exposure. One of the things that we've done at Edify schools for years now is all our children take internship from grade 8 to grade 12 for at least 1,000 hours, which gives them a hands-on experience of what it is to work in an industry. So the career decisions they are making is not based on what my parents want me to be or what my friends are being and peer learning, or I'm good at biology so I will become a doctor, but rather to understand what is the lifestyle, the work ethics, the work culture, the work requirements, skill requirements of the profession, and then make informed decisions. I have so many students who started off with saying, I want to get into hotel management, and 15 days when they do the internship, they come back and say, no, 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 it looks very glamorous from the outside, but when you actually do the work, it's lifting, cleaning sheets and dishes, and then they say, no, no, I think I'll look for some other options. Or when students collaborate with students of other schools abroad, and they hear about the kind of internship opportunities like schools in the US. I'm sure Dr. Annie will give us some details about that. But in the US, schools start internship at high school, which gives such a wonderful opportunity to these students to understand what they want to do. And it also works as a great college prerequisite for them. So I think that's something that we must do. Also, it prepares children to understand future jobs, technologies that do not even, I mean, we would not even be aware of, would be in the market 2 years from now. And if our children get into industry, get into that workforce internship, they get to know what's happening in future and prepare themselves and their skill set to match that kind of a workforce. Does that
Absolutely, very
answer?
well said. Very well said, Dr. Kavitha.
Thank
That
you.
this is the need of the hour to collaborate, make our students understand that the world is a small place; it's a global family. And in India, we of course tell our children that it's a one world family, Vasudev Kutumbakam. So they need to be ready to learn from various parts of the country, from across the world as well as it comes. Thank you so much, Dr. Kavitha, for that very impromptu answer. And let us go to the West. We are pleased to have Dr. Annie with us today. And Dr. Annie, as I told, Dr. Annie View, the head of International Program of Schools, District of Janesville, Overseas Office, Asia Pacific. Hello and welcome, Dr. Annie.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Great. So, Dr. Annie, we would like to understand from you how can we adopt and get inspired by the practices of industrial academia collaboration in the West? We have heard a lot about this, and Dr. Kavitha was also talking about the industrial academia collaboration. So, go ahead, Dr. Annie. We would like to know more about you if, in a minute. That what do you do? How do you do? And then probably you can share some light about the collaboration part between the industrial academia and the students. Go ahead, Dr. Annie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Well,
Welcome.
traditionally, as we can see, the industrial and academic partnerships, which have been relatively successful in West, in United States, in my case, that's including like a corporate internships, work study programs, curriculum advisory boards, guest lectureships, and capstone courses, which would give opportunity to identify the gaps and opportunities for growth after assessing the status quo and how well it will enhancing design education, especially in curriculum. Industrial organizations, which they hold money and workforce, academics have extensive knowledge and a large proportion of them are experts in their respective subjects. So, interaction between industry and academia has proven so far to be very successful in fields such as chemistry, physics, engineering, health, artificial intelligence, etc. So, I can give you so many examples in different fields. As where I come from, working for the school districts, Janesville in United States, we're in Wisconsin, and we are looking after pre-K to K-12. So in this case, we actually provide this kind of a combination or collaboration at the high school level. I can give an example. We within our curriculum from year 9 to 12, we do have a vocational studies for our students as the electives compared to the traditional curriculum of the high school level. And we do encourage students to do their projects, the real project from year 9 to cross out to year 12. And we have students starting from scratch, designing a house and building a house and then sell the house. So this is an opportunity that at the moment, as a public education system in the United States, we are providing to our students as young as a senior high school students. And to my field, because I'm looking after international programs, we, as a school district, we work with high schools or schools in any other countries, like currently in Spain, China, South Korea, Japan, Colombia, etc. And we also providing such opportunity to our students internationally, and also who wants to join us in the United States. So after we have done that for the last 10 years, we feel there are so many advantages of such a collaboration for both industry and academia. For example, the academics, they include career opportunities, research funding, awareness of industry trends, and inspiration by application driven by discussions. Well, the other hand, for industry, this involves access to extended networks, thinking outside the box, training, ability to find a new talent to hire, and access to the specialized resources. So making contacts and exchange of knowledge are just some of the advantage for both partners. This is what really, for my last of 10 years of experience, how I feel the collaboration between industry and academic. Thank you.
Yeah, very well said. Thank you so much, Dr. Annie. You've given completely a different perspective of the modern day education. And as you rightly said during your answer, that we need to move away from the traditional school education, because on our shoulders we have the great responsibility of creating the 21st century workforce. And for that, we need to be doing some experiments. We need to be thinking more about what kind of collaborations we can have for our students, and may not necessarily be dependent upon the affiliating board that we are affiliated to. I hope Dr. Kavitha, Dr. Rathor, and Dr. Sarada would agree with me, because we all are affiliated closely to the Central Board of Secondary Education for that matter. So going forward with this approach that Dr. Kavitha and Dr. Annie has set for us, that this is the time of collaboration, and we need to catch the children young. As Dr. Annie was saying, that right now from 9 year onwards to 12 year, and then from 12 to 15, these are some crucial years. And if we remember our days, what we used to be during 9 to 12 or 12 to 15, I'm sorry to say we are just unable to even correlate to what's happening today. Would you agree with me, Dr. Kavitha, Dr. Sharda, on that? Thank you. Thank you for those thumbs up, Dr. Sharda. So there has been such a change in the education system, but we have that great responsibility of preparing our children. We cannot cry any foul. So going to Dr. Rathor, thank you so much, Annie. That was very elaborate. You gave an answer. Dr. Rathor, we would like to understand, how can we bring industrial academia collaboration practices to a full-fledged model for the future reference of the work. So exactly how can practically we do that? And particularly I would like to understand in the Indian scenario, that what exactly initiatives have you been seeing or doing in your school, or in fact being advocating about it? And I request Dr. Rathod to take a minute to speak about your own personal experience and achievements as well. Go ahead, Dr. Rathod.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So, I am S.K. Rathor, as you said. So, I am founder, chairman, and managing director of Sanfort Group of Schools. We have more than 250 preschools, primary schools, and 10+2 schools across the country. And we have few branches in Nepal and Bangladesh also. So, I am into this education sector for more than 21 years now. We started our first preschool in year 2000. So almost next month we will be completing. I will be completing 22 years in the field.
Congratulations.
So thank you so much, sir. So what I feel, and I advocated my thought in many other platforms also. See, what I feel in specifically in our country, where every parent look for his son or daughter to become an IT professional, or डॉक्टर अभी थोड़ा कम हो गया, but IT professional basically, engineer. Every school look for the IIT JEE result or 10+2 grade 12 99%, 100% result. So in our country, the first thing before thinking about the collaboration between the industry and schools, we have to create an environment in our system where we need to educate, we need to counsel the parent. Engineering and doctoring is not only the field where your child should go. So what I have started in my schools, I have asked my teachers to find out the interest of the children at very basic stage, upper primary level. We give some opportunity to the children to explore the things and find out their interest, and then accordingly we take sessions with the parents. And by the grade 8, when the child comes to grade 8, we should be fairly in the position to tell your child would perform better in this particular field, and accordingly we have to counsel the parent. Then we need to take up this to next level to coordinate with the industries, nearby industries, then experts of that field, not only industry, experts of the field, so that they can come to our school. They are coming up to our school, so they can come to every school, the school who is doing all these kind of things, to counsel the parent, to take a session, to give them insight of that particular field, so that the child can pick up the subject accordingly. Now, as whenever the NEP will be in implementation, then the child will have the option to pick up the subjects. Not only कि अभी ये science ही लेना है, कि mathematics लेना है, या history पढ़ना है. Now the child can take the history along with the biology also. So this is the way. First level of the things we have to do. One thing. Second thing, there are lots of industries are around in all the cities. Lots of industries, and every industry looks for the young people to come and work for them for some hours, and they wanted to give them some money, kind of internship. So for internship, lots of industries are opening their doors, because they look for the young people to come and work. During that time, the children will understand, learn and find out their interest. Many of the times, as my previous panelist says, many of the times children didn't find their interest in that particular field, what they were thinking about. So this is the only way when we can produce the good manpower. Another thing, as parents, we invest lakhs and lakhs of rupees or crores of rupees in some of the cases in our child's education, and some 20 years of the child's life also goes to. What is the outcome? We need to decide the outcome. What is the outcome? When we are doing that much of investment, that high investment, then what would be the outcome? Outcome should be decided at the age of grade 11, 12, and that should be decided by the child, parent and teachers, school, collectively. Then only we can produce good workforce for the country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. S.K. Rathor. You very rightly said that first the counseling is to be provided to the children, because awareness is where a lot of children coming from B class cities and C class cities lack upon. The students in the metros or in the very highly paid schools, they are of course getting greater opportunities of understanding, but particularly the cities where the population majorly of India lies, they lack in terms of the awareness part of it. So thank you so much for bringing that point, that first is the counseling about various careers. Like one such initiative that we take in our school is we hold every 15 days career of the fortnight, and every session we invite at least 10 to 15 career experts of various fields whom the children can correlate to, and they came from their own cities. Sometimes from the parents itself, we find that there is a chartered accountant coming in, there is a lawyer coming in, there is a businessman coming in, there is a different digital marketeer coming in. So they give the students first a first-hand view about what their career is and how does it look like. And second part, of course, what we can do is the internship with a lot of industries. Every industry would be interested in having these young children as interns. And I cannot agree more on that. Dr. Rathor and others panelists would also agree with me that in India, particularly, we need that parent partnership is very important, because parents are still taking the major decisions for even the higher secondary school and high school students as well. So the parents need to first get educated that what are the different options, because you and me being parents, as I told you earlier, that if we remember our school days, there are certain careers which are still not we have not heard about. So how can we decide for our children for the things we haven't decided about? So thank you so much. This uh, discussion is going in the right direction. I hope you all agree with me. Superb. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we go to Dr. Sarada Chandrasekaran. She is the director of Whitefield Global Schools, Bangalore, and we are very, very privileged to have a very senior academician with us with over 40 years of the academic experience. Dr. Sharda, we would like to understand this question. I'll just read it and you can just make a few notes about it. As robots, automation, and AI perform more tasks, and there is a massive disruption of jobs, will models like these global academia collaborations will be helpful enough for these well-prepared workers to keep up in within the race with the AI tools? So now there is going to be a human AI tussle very soon. Go ahead, Dr. Sharda, and please let us know more about you as well, so that after this program also, all five of us can collaborate and have some more meaningful discussions in the future as well. Go ahead, Dr. Sharda.
Thank you so much, sir. In fact, it's my privilege to be amongst all the learned people. Yeah, 41 years I've been, this is the 41st year in the academics, and I'm 60 years old. So I have entire, my
60
life
years,
has been
yes.
with entire life I have been with with education and with children. I always feel that being with the children between the age group of 2.5 to 18 makes me feel extremely young at heart and physically, metaphorically, in all ways. So we will never grow old otherwise. Yeah. Now, I would like to tell everything through a story. I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories. It
Superb.
seems once there was a king, and he wanted the whole kingdom to be having a complete just atmosphere. So he told all his judges that I'm installing one particular statue at some centrally located park in your particular areas or villages, wherever you are, courts are there. Whenever you give a judgment, I'll arrange such a system there that if there are tears coming out of that statue, that means you gave a bad judgment. And if at all the statue is smiling, that means you gave a good judgment. Then these judges said that, oh, how will they smile? No, I made a system. Okay. So what he did is he called experts who can actually trigger the emotion into this particular statues, that they can smile or they can cry if the judgments are wrong. For some time it went on, and suddenly, uh, constantly the tears were coming and never the smiles were coming. This was identified. Now they had to do the little bit of a root cause analysis, that what happened, that all the statues all the time are crying. So then when they identified, they understood that the people understood the trick in making this particular statue cry. So whenever there is a judgment, if it is not in favor of them, they were going and triggering that so that the statue cries. Now, that is the situation. Okay, we have statues all around. We are creating that they will cry or they will laugh for whatever the judgments we give, that all the AI is doing. Actually, it is actually looking at us, it is tracking us, whether we are smiling, we are laughing, we do this, we don't do that. Wherever we are nowadays, we are quite scared that we have been absolutely being observed, and that is the AI, and robots are coming. But who is managing this AI? Who is managing these robots? And if this system is there for past 40 years, as an educationist, as an academician, I have believed only in one thing. And for past 15 years in our Whitefield Global School, we have been doing this. That is getting into design thinking, making the children feel that identify the problem, sympathize with the problem and the people who have a problem, and find the solution, try the solution, and review the solution. Okay, so this makes any learning happen extremely well. Then you will be the one who will create AI. You will be the one who will create a robot. You will be the one who will control the entire technology, and you are the boss. So, as long as I'm here and I'm training the children who will take up the jobs unknown after 10 years, I need to put in this into them. I need to put in from primary the question of asking why rather than what. Anyhow, they all know what. At the tip of finger, they have the information across, and they know more than that. I have a 7-year-old grandson who asks me that, in which flight did you come back from Hyderabad? I said, Indigo. No, I'm not asking about that. I'm asking about make. Did you come in Airbus? Did you come in Boeing? I said, I never ask these things. He said, you should know about it. When you are booking Ola, are you not checking small car, which make and all? So when you are coming by flight, you must know. If a 7-year-old knows this much in one home, imagine the world. How many of the 7-year-olds know more than what I know? So there is an information. Now, my job or our job as an academician is to trigger the question of where, why, how am I using this information? So if we facilitate them with this in collaboration with a counterpart in the other part of the world, then what happens? I'm doing this. What are you doing? And are you and me on the same ground? Are we getting into the same kind of an understanding? What is my learning and what is your learning? Can we do a better job so that the AI and the robo will be our slaves? We will not be the slaves to them. If we put in this kind of a knowledge, then we are the bosses and we will remain the bosses. And that's what we will make the children do. So they will remain the bosses even in future, and they will make the technology only as a tool and a slave to serve them and serve the world for a better world. Thank you for listening.
Great, wonderful, Dr. Sharda. आपको सुनने के बाद I feel I should become one more time a student of yours.
Thank you so much, sir.
So Dr. Sharda, what rightly she said, and took our attention to design thinking, and we need to ask about why. Mr. Simon Sinek has written this wonderful book, Always Start with Why, and then what and how will take care of it. And how rightly she is told, and we also understand that human touch is never going to be obsolete. Come whatever, come artificial intelligence, it will be artificial only. It will be artificial. What is original is the human mind behind it, which is making the artificial intelligence work, or it's making the computers and robots work. So it's very important that we need to train these young minds about a critical analysis, critical thinking, solution-based thinking, and being more empathetic towards the needs and the problems of the people around and the whole world around us. That's wonderful. So that helps us go with the first set of questions that we have asked all the four panelists. And now we are moving to the second set of questions. We have probably around some 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes of time to go ahead with the four questions which are coming your way. So you can create your answers that way, that you are able to answer in a minute and a half or two. However, if you feel that yes, you need to emphasize on any other particular point, time is not a botheration. You can go ahead and do enlighten us, because we might miss out a question, but what we want to learn is whatever we do should make sense to all of us. So Dr. Kavitha, this fifth question comes to you. How can digitalization help this model of academia to reach across the world, and can it be as impactful as on-ground training and method? The basic effects of digitalization you can speak about, Dr. Kavitha. Please go ahead.
Thank you. just two things that I would want to talk before talking about digitalization. Someone, I think Dr. Rathor spoke about NEP. So NEP has mandated internship. It has also mandated coding from grade 6, ensuring that our learners are ready for future workforce, which is a fantastic thing. Now, going to internships, unfortunately, in India, the labor laws are such that when these children go out to intern, many industries shut the doors to them because they're not allowed to have interns under 18 years of age. And NEP, I'm hoping, will change that for us and will let our children really have a true internship experience and not just like a tour experience that some industries give them just because of the under 18 rule in the country. Um, Now, digitally, it helps us immensely. Like all other speakers said, having industry experts, having internship opportunities digitally, which means there are no more borders. You can actually have like you said, Chawlaji, have maybe a graphic designer from some part of the world talking to the students, a doctor from some other part of the world talking to the students. It may not just be India. That's a great advantage. One beautiful case study that I always quote is Nintendo. The games that they launch are always tested by students. They are tested by students in US high schools, in high schools across the world, because they want to know. Students are their biggest consumers, right? So students test them, give feedback, and it's all done digitally. The links are sent to the students. Students play the games, see how they win, how they enjoy the experience, give feedback, and then Nintendo reworks on the whole user interface and gets back to students. And I think that's a beautiful model. That's why they've been so popular, and they've sold so many games because their consumers were directly involved in product development. And that is something that industries could do digitally. They could actually test their products even before they hit market. Startups can achieve their MVPs, their minimum value propositions, by testing in small samples digitally to these school students. So, like Dr. Annie said, or it could work both ways. It'll benefit the industry in producing um, consumer ready products and services, and it'll help the students understand what's the future, what are they really looking at in terms of career opportunities ahead. And the digital advantage is that there are no more boundaries. You can actually reach to companies across the world, professionals across the world, even within India. Like Edify has schools in small places to metros. We have schools in places where the total population is just 30,000. And then we have schools in Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad. And our students in the small cities don't miss out because we still connect them to professionals in the rural India immensely. And thanks to COVID, digitally, in terms of the infrastructure, we've certainly advanced in terms of the physical infrastructure and the bandwidth to support digital education. Thank you.
Very, very right, Dr. Kavitha. This is only through digitalization that we are able to do this panel discussion as well. And certainly with the advent of digitalization, and if you say that if all the schools have the right infrastructure, obviously the career such training, skill development, or such trainings can be given to children which they cannot even think of. Now nobody can cry foul and say that coming from a very smaller place, or not having enough opportunities to grow, that would not be the right thing. Certainly digitalization is going to help us all in a big way, and we can clearly see the benefits of it. Superb. So let's go to Dr. Annie and hear from her. Dr. Annie, this one is for you. Will the partnership between industry and academia will be instrumental in advancing research and knowledge and creating a skilled workforce? What's your take on that, Dr. Annie?
Thank you, sir. Well, to answer that question, the simple way from me is yes. And well, to expand that question, really, I believe the collaboration between industry and academia promotes the innovation and growth in technology. From those partnerships, the industry gains work-ready talent with specialist knowledge and practical training. And the academia benefit by having opportunities to work on relevant technologies. Giving example, as digitalization increases in the world, especially over the pandemic, The opportunity of having a young tech-savvy population ready to apply its learnings in the key fields such as AI and big data to solve major challenges we are probably already facing critically, like healthcare and energy. I'm sure there's a lot of fields that actually need or require such a technology. And as in Western industrialized economies really rely heavily on advances of science and technology, probably we already know that. And they are seen as vital in addressing currently pressing societal goals. So usually we probably call that granted challenges of an aging society, especially facing increased environmental degradation, such as climate change. I think that has been very popular for the recent years, especially over pandemic again. Moreover, because of the global competition, Western industrialized economies rely heavily on generating knowledge and carry out research and development in order to maintain economic welfare. So again, back to what I said at the beginning, I definitely personally believe such a partnership between industry and academia will be the instrumental in advancing researching and knowledge and creating a skilled workforce. And where I come from, this public school district in United States, we are trying to do that and also allowing students to understand the combination of the partnership as young as possible. So, and what I can see from the past 10 years, we have younger students who actually taking the opportunity and become a very skilled workforce. And we hope we are going to generate more skilled workforce. And even we are creating such an environment for our students, even getting younger. Thank you.
Great. That's really a nice perspective, Dr. Annie. Again, as we are talking about the future ready education, this really makes sense that we need to be forward looking and seeing that we need to produce a more skilled workforce who will be more inclined towards the research and development of every field when it comes to knowledge and when it comes to workforce, because you don't know, after pandemic a lot of new careers have come out. As we say that every problem is pregnant with an opportunity, so you don't know that in future what new possibilities are going to come in. So we need to be making our students be strength focused, means be more solution focused rather than only problem focused. And with the digitalization and with the upgradation of their knowledge, we can certainly initiate the young minds to think bigger and better. Thank you so much for those answers, Dr. Annie. It is a pleasure to have you
My
with us.
pleasure.
Please
Thank you.
hang along with us. Dr. Rathor, we would like to understand from you, can these models be effective in countries that are more towards a socialist economy rather than a capitalist economy? For example, China, which has the highest manufacturing companies, and countries like India, which got the highest number of semi-skilled labor or masters union. So, in a more related way, Dr. Rathor, if we can understand कि China or India को ध्यान में रखते हुए, what would be your answer that how effective would these kind of trainings be in these countries? Go ahead, Dr. Rathor.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So my simple one-line answer is this is a political system basically. See, whatever in our country, the present government for last 8 years has taken many initiatives, many innovative initiatives rather. Skill India, Digital India, many initiatives they have taken. What happened with the skill education through Skill India? Because the willpower of the people who have to implement is not there in our country. One thing. Second thing, everybody, even the children, look for a shortcut to go for a higher income, and for this when they take the shortest possible route, they even don't fall in a position to start their income. So for last 8 years, policies are worked out very well, but the implementation system is very weak. checkpoints are very weak. Nobody is there to check the people who are getting grants from skill ministry. Are they practically, implementing in the right way? What is the learning outcome out of that? That is the main issue. One thing. Second thing, whatever any government do in our country, the opposition always pulls the leg. So this is another issue. So whenever in any democracy, in developing country, democracy, in many of the cases, democracy is a problem. The country like China, whatever China's government says that everyone has to do. There's no second question, no second thought. They don't have any exit. Whatever in any capitalistic country, whatever the government dictate, their dictatorship basically, rather I can say, whatever they dictate, in many of the things, the dictation is very important to make the population learn and employable. So this is the main difference. If and in our system also, it's not system, in our public, willingness of work is not there. If I wanted to work, I come from very humble background. From the childhood itself, I just thought when I was in the grade 8, 9, I decided I will not apply for any government job. Though I was highly qualified, at that point of time, if I would have applied for the government job, I would be director or some good position today in any government organization. But I have never filled a single form for the government job. I started my career as computer engineer in a private organization. Then I started my company. Then I started school. Then second, third, fourth, fifth school. So this is the way people need to think. This kind of atmosphere should be there in our society. That atmosphere no government can create. That we people have to create that environment. That is the only difference, nothing else. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, Dr. Rathor, you have hit the bullseye when it comes to problems in India, because it is the atmosphere which is very important, because these small children they are very, very vulnerable to the atmosphere around them. So we have to educate the parents who have the immediate stake at families. We need to appeal to them that what kind of atmosphere are you creating, and we need to set their mindset very ready, that what do they want their children to be, in the future, and how do they see their children in the future. So that's really an important aspect, and governments do play a very, very important role in the countries like ours, which are much bigger in population and in democracy as well. So going for a story time to Dr. Sharda. I love the story, and she is a master storyteller we have. So we take this opportunity of throwing a question and hearing a story from her again. Dr. Sharda, this question, probably the last one of this panel discussion, then we can have an open discussion about what are the take-homes of this 45 minutes of discussion. This question says, how can the industrial academia model compete or change the perception of people who are still considerable in learning from the top Ivy League colleges or prime colleges rather than such a form of learning? A very important question. Still, the mindset is about the institutions which we have heard about, and how ready are we to learn digitally from maybe freelancer. Maybe a freelancer can teach us better than a organized college. So what's your take on that, Dr. Sharda? Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. In fact, very interesting question. The moment I read the question, something came to my mind, an anecdote. We are 4 sisters, and I am the youngest of the 5 children, and all 4 sisters, we studied in same school. So my eldest sister is a very good singer. So when my turn came, the 4th daughter of the family and 5th child, same school. The moment I stepped into the school, there were some inter-school competitions happening, and the music competition is there. So the music teacher came into the classroom. She saw me and she said, "Are you Gayatri's sister?" I said, "Yes." Then immediately she said, "Okay, come for singing." I said, "I don't sing." She said, "How can Gayatri's sister can't sing?" I said, "I'm a dancer." She said, "Nothing doing. Gayatri's sister must sing." I'm talking about 70s and 60s. So what happens is the Ivy League colleges means they are the best. There is no other choice because of the kind of quality they have set it, number one. So we have a fixed notion that this means this is good. And we are all scared to try a new thing. And in this, all the process, there is almost a return on investment is also there. That if I'm taking this much of a downtime, this much of a resource on getting somebody, then if they come from an Ivy League or a prime university, that they'll be able to do my job better. This is a complete set mind we have. But what we need to do is, again, I'll tell a story that we need to ask that why. The story is, it seems there is a new daughter-in-law entered one Khandani house, one big rich Khandani house, and as per the norms of that house, that the daughter-in-law has to cook food and serve for the whole people that first day. So she cooked, and big table was laid, and she spread out all that she cooked. And the eldest daughter-in-law came running. She said, everything is good, but you forgot something. She ran inside and brought one long log of a stick with all that silver and all engraved on it, and kept it in the corner of the dining room. And she said, you can call the people. Now this young girl, being young girl of Z, she said that why that stick there? And the elder one got very upset. She said that don't ask why and all. When I was 18, I entered this home as daughter-in-law, and my mother told, whatever your mother-in-law does, you better do it. Do not ask why and all. So I followed what mother-in-law does. Now this girl, being that Y generation, she went and asked mother-in-law after the whole food and the dinner was over. Then mother-in-law said, see, when I got married and entered this home, I was 12 years old. And my mother said, don't ever ask what your mother-in-law does. Observe and do it. So I did it. I never asked my mother-in-law. Now this girl was more intrigued. Nobody is answering why that stick there when you're serving food. And it is so scary that you call the guests and then you keep a stick right in front of them. So it's really scary. This is not at all good. So she, to her, like that mother-in-law's mother-in-law is alive, living in one corner of this Haveli. So she went to this 98 plus year old grandmother, mother-in-law's mother-in-law, and asked, I believe, why the stick? So that 98-year-old lady gave a toothless laugh. And she said, Sadiyon se intezar kar rahi hu, koi to puche mere se, that why the stick? Then she told, when I got married, I was 80-year-old. And we were not living in this palace. We were living in an open, that four sides open kind of a corridor, kind of a house. We had to serve food in that open corridors. Lot of cats and crows and dogs used to come. So I used to walk with a stick in my hand. Till your mother-in-law came into this house, we were in that house only. Later on only we shifted. So your mother-in-law saw me keeping the stick while serving food. So she thought that keeping stick is a complete compulsion to follow the norm. So she carried. She never asked me. So why I'm saying is that the upcoming schools must understand that instead of not asking why, keeping the stick and giving it up, saying that we are not in the Ivy League, they have to know why that they are not in the Ivy League, number one. Number two is that they have to ask this industry that what are your parameters, what are your measurables? Give us a clarity. We will train our students like that. Give a litmus test. If our children do not do well, then you can give up. But at least give us your measurables. I prepare my child like that. So once we come to this kind of a terms with the industry, then the separation of this Ivy League and not so, we are not, bringing the expert and we are learning online, and then it is not considered as good because I do not know who will validate the speaker. All those kind of things will go because there is a measurable. And if anybody, whoever is qualifying the measurable, then should be given the job or should be given the kind of a task to be fulfilled. If we follow this, and if all organizations openly talk to each other, because we have to stand as a bridge between each other, not to stand as an isolated islands, so that we can be making a better world. That is what I feel. And thank you very much.
That's really awesome, Dr. Sharda. That was again a beautiful story that we back home. And what right people say that data's tell, but stories sell.
Thank you so much.
brought a new life to the whole panel discussion about what you are doing, the good practices that you have in the West. And Dr. Rathor, with so many schools he's running, and what he comes and tells us about his practical on-ground experience is really good. Thank you so much, Dr. Rathor. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharda. We will be in touch more often in that group so that we can exchange some ideas. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Shubham for bringing all four of us, five of us on this platform and giving us an opportunity and a new vision to think differently about this global partnership and this collaboration that is the need of the hour and the future as well. Thank you so much. You all have been a wonderful panelist to me. And thank you so much for giving this opportunity to moderate this session. Over to you, Mr. Shubham.
Thank you so much for joining and accepting our invitation for the event. And the vision and the theme I created with for this event is to create future-ready workforces and enhancing education. And thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights for the same. And I would really love to collaborate with you all in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rathor. Thank you, Sharda ma'am.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for joining Future Ready Education Summit. And this 2-day summit was really great. And we had a very excellent number of speakers, and we had a very good and excellent insights from them on the theme of the event, which was making future ready workforces and enhancing the education. So thank you so much, audience, for being there from the starting. And without you guys and without our eminent speaker, it would not be possible. Thank you so much, and we are so we are so honored to organize this event. And now, in future, we will organize something like that, and maybe more innovative like that. So we'll hope to see you soon there as well. Thank you so much. I mean, till then, namaste.